Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and today's video is called VoIP Call Forwarding Feature Explained. Call forwarding is a common feature that everybody, pretty much everyone that calls me looking for a voice over IP phone system always asks when I say, what features do you need or would you like? They always say they require call forwarding. Believe it or not, I have a lot of people that don't understand how call forwarding works with VoIP or want to know how it works on a VoIP, on a voice over IP phone system in comparison to the older systems. And also, I have a lot of clients out there over the years that call me with call forwarding problems that 99.9% of the time tend to be user error. So I'm going to explain exactly what call forwarding is with the newer phone systems, i.e. voice over IP, typically how it works, how you can use the functionality, and some common things that you need to be aware of or consider when using the function and feature. So, first of all, nowadays, at the time of this video, and at the time of our era or our service offering that we offer, just about every single voice over IP service provider out there offers call forwarding. It is not a feature that needs to be purchased as an add-on. It is a typical feature that you should expect to be included with pretty much any voice over IP phone system carrier that you talk to or get a pricing estimate from or see a demo with these days. In short, it's part of their plan or package. Call forwarding pretty much also works the same with every carrier. So this isn't a thing where, oh, another carrier can say we do better call forwarding than the others. Call forwarding is call forwarding is call forwarding, and it works the same on pretty much every carrier. So how it works. In short, call forwarding allows you to the ability on an entire phone system, or what we would call system-wide, or on each individual phone individually, or each individual extension, allow you to forward the calls that would normally come into that phone out to an external number. This could be, for example, like forwarded to to your cell phone. This could be even forwarded to a landline or to another separate phone number with a different carrier than the one that you're forwarding from with, at another premise, like the phone line at your home, or it could be to a phone at a second location for your business or other location or whatever it may be. In short, it can be forwarded to another phone number with another carrier totally different from the one that you're forwarding out of, i.e. your voice over IP phone service provider. Call forwarding can be set on any phone. At the time of this video, with the way that most of the service providers work, it's literally as simple as walking up to the phone and basically pressing the function on that phone that allows for you to forward a call, and then put the number in there with the area code, that you want to forward your calls to. And it's done. It's set. Let's see here. The other thing is that's really important to understand, and this is where we get into the part where people have issues, but we'll touch more on that later in this video. You can set up a call forward one of two ways in most voice over IP phone systems. You can set it at what I call the phone level, meaning, as I mentioned before, you walk up to the physical phone, you press whatever function key on that phone allows you to forward, which is usually one button. It's not a lot of steps to do this. And then you enter the area code of the number plus the 7 digits, rest of the number that you want to forward your calls out to. And it's done. It's set. You'll usually hit something that says like okay or accept or whatever. Now, the other way that you can set a call forward, which is useful with voice over IP, and this is not able to be done the way that I'm going to describe with older phone systems, is you can actually set it in what we call the administration portal or the back end portal of the phone system. So as a scenario that I'll throw out there, let's say that you're at home and you get a call from your boss or from your partner, your superiors at the office saying, hey, the power's out here, or there's a snowstorm here, or for whatever event in space and time has happened, the phones are down or you can't come into the office that day. You can log into the backend administration portal of your said phone system service provider and go into your extension and basically forward all your calls remotely right then and there. You can instruct the phone system to forward all the calls for your extension to whatever number it is that you're wanting to forward to. In this scenario, I can only assume it would be your mobile number or maybe your home phone number or something like that. But that gives you the ability to forward your calls remotely without having to actually go into the office and do it. This is extremely useful for areas that may have been susceptible to, say, power outage, natural disaster, the internet is down, or something like that. So that is one thing to understand about call forwarding with the newer voice over IP phone systems is you can set it on the phone level, or you can set it remotely by way of the internet without actually having to go into the office. And then you can also disable it remotely when you want your calls to come back into your phone that way. So you would disable it at the phone, or you would disable it on the internet level. Let's see here. Oh, one other thing that was really important is there is a third way that you can do this, but this depends on the carrier and it depends on whether you have the mobile app already pre-installed. Most of the mobile apps with most voice over IP carriers, i.e. Vonage Business, Nextiva, RingCentral, OnSIP, it will also allow you to control the call forwarding to and from your extension within the mobile app that you may have installed on your cell phone. So that is a third, we'll say, hidden way that you can also control, enable, and disable call forwarding as well. I want to go over some pros and cons of call forwarding and things that you just need to be aware of. And it's some pitfalls that we've seen some customers run into over the years. Number one, well, this is the pros of call forwarding. So we'll start with the pros, then we'll get into the cons. Pros of call forwarding: allows you to forward all calls to an external number. We already discussed this. This is extremely useful, especially if you found out that you can't come into the office, or if something has happened in your office and now you are being forced to vacate the office for a short-term or even long-term period of time. Call forwarding is very useful for that, so that you obviously don't miss calls in the event that you can't be available to answer your physical phone in the office for a short or long period of time. It means you can still get your calls and also still get voicemails and still be available. Pro number two, if your phone breaks, if you're, say, somebody in the office and you break your phone, or your phone is stolen or something like that, in any event, your phone is unavailable for use, you can set up a call forward remotely so that you still can get your calls to your cell phone or to another number of your choice that you have decided to forward your calls to. So this is a really, really good option if, like I said, your actual physical handset in the office, your phone actually breaks or it gets stolen, or let's say that your phone system in the office is under repair or something like that, or your internet in the office is under repair. You can forward your calls so that you can still get your calls while whatever this event is taking place. So that's a big pro to be able to ensure the continuity of your business and your reputation so that you don't seem like somebody who's just not returning phone calls and not checking voicemails. Pro number three is, and I guess this kind of flows into pro number two, you can forward all of your calls in the event of a power outage or internet outage. Again, as I mentioned before, if your internet was suddenly to abruptly go down or you abruptly lose power in your office, you obviously would not be able to interact with your phone, but you can still go into most voice over IP phone services at the time of this video, allow not only the administrator or owner of the company, but also the individual staff members and users that have their own extensions, a separate login where you can log into this from the internet from any computer, whether it be from your home Wi-Fi or from a nearby Wi-Fi at an internet cafe or something like a Starbucks or Panera Bread. You can literally go in and direct where you want your phone calls to go temporarily. So that's pro number three. The cons of call forwarding. Number one, the problem with call forwarding is that you won't receive your phone calls on your normal extension. Your calls are being sent externally outside of the phone system, i.e. Vonage, Nextiva, RingCentral, OnSIP, 8x8, the list goes on and on and on, which means if somebody leaves you a message or they get your voicemail because you've sent the call outside of the system, they're not going to get your professional, "Hi, this is Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group. You've reached my professional voicemail." They're going to get your, "Hi, this is Prince Rich. You've reached my personal cell phone," or "You've reached my personal home phone," or whatever. So keep this in mind. While this is still better than not getting any calls at all and not being able to follow up and seeming like you're somebody who's unprofessional that's not returning calls or not receiving calls, for some people this may be a problem for persons to get their personal voicemail on their cell phone or home phone instead of their actual professional voicemail. Now, there is something that can get around this called simultaneous ring. I'm not going to get into much of this here. We cover that in a different video that I'll point to in this video. But simultaneous ring is something that allows for the ability for you to kind of sort of forward your calls to another number. But if the call isn't answered, the person doesn't go to your personal cell phone or personal home phone voicemail. They get redirected back to your business voicemail and whatnot, so that you can still kind of keep it all professional and keep it within the business. Keep it within the business. But again, I'll cover that in more detail in another video. So, anywho, con number 2, external calls and voicemails, as I already mentioned before, but I want to touch a bit more on this one. External calls that go to voicemail, when calls are forwarded, they're gone from the forwarded carrier that you forwarded the call out of. It can't come back on a call forward. So this means that if somebody gets your voicemail, they not only get your not only get your personal voicemail on your cell phone or your landline, they also get that voicemail box, which means that you also cannot check those messages on your business, on your business hosted phone system. You would have to basically check those voicemails through however means that you check your cell phone or you check whatever this number is that you had them go out to. The other con about this, and I want to be very specific with this, is if you forward a number, if you set up a call forward to, say, a cell phone, and your cell phone battery is dead, meaning it's off, or you purposefully cut your phone off, they will get no rings and they will automatically go straight to your voicemail of whatever the phone number is that you forwarded this person to. So if you're somebody that's watching this, again, it's better than getting no calls. But if you're somebody that really, really, really doesn't want to have voicemails left on your personal cell phone or personal home phone, or you don't want people to be able to have access to your personal voicemail and you want to keep it professional, I don't recommend call forwarding. I recommend you look at something called simultaneous ring, which, like call forwarding, almost all of the voice over IP carriers at the time of this video offer it as something for free that you have a choice to use or not to use in the package. But again, I'm going to cover that in a different video that I'll point to in this video. Let's see here. Oh, point number 3. One of the cons of call forwarding, it's the final con of call forwarding. And this is something I know I said before that call forwarding is free with most carriers, which it is. Some of the carriers will charge for calls to be forwarded within the auto attendant. No carrier that I know of at the time of this call charges for your regular extension to forward calls to an external number. But if you decide that you want to say, and this is a popular feature that I get asked of with realtors a lot. Let's say that you're real estate company XYZ and you want to set up a function where people can call into an auto attendant and it'll say, you've reached XYZ real estate company. For Bob the realtor, for Bob the realtor's phone, press 1. For Susie the realtor's phone, press 2. For Michael the realtor's phone, press 3. Those calls will get virtually forwarded directly to those realtors' external cell phones or something like that. But there are some carriers out there that when you get connected to that other side, they will charge a per minute fee for the time that you or that person is on the phone and connected on that call. So, if you're shopping for carriers and call forwarding is a very powerful feature for you in the light and in the manner that I just described, it's really important that you ask the carrier, is there a per minute charge or anything like that for the duration of forwarded calls? So that's the last con. Before we wrap this video up, some things to remember and some pitfalls that I commonly see I want to go over with call forwarding. Again, I want to retouch on, once the call is forwarded, it has left your voice over IP phone system, and now it is being handled by whatever carrier, the number is managed by that you forwarded that call to, i.e. a T-Mobile cell phone or a Verizon landline or an AT&T cell phone or an AT&T landline. At that point, when that happens, you you have lost all of your voice over IP features, which means for the duration of that call, you can't do things like music on hold or call transfer within your system or so on. And, the list goes on, so on and so forth, because you are no longer in your voice over IP system that has all those functions and features. That call has literally been transferred out of said carrier, and now it's being handled, with whoever the carrier is that you forwarded it to, and the other carrier of whoever it is that you're talking to on the phone. So just understand that. Again, and I'll point to this video, if you want to be able to pseudo forward your calls to another number like your cell phone or your home phone, but still preserve all of your voice over IP-like features, Simultaneous Ring is what you want to be looking at. But again, we'll touch on that in a different video. The other thing that I wanted to cover that you need to be aware of, keep in mind that unanswered calls, if you forward your numbers out, they will not go to your professional voicemail that's within your professional phone system. They will go to the voicemail of whatever is on this number that you forwarded to. In most scenarios, your personal cell phone or your landline. Point number 2, and this goes back to the voicemail. If you're somebody that's watching this and you absolutely do not want people to get your personal voicemail for professional or legal reasons, you need to stick with Simultaneous Ring, not call forwarding, because call forwarding sends them completely out of the system, and then they do not have access to your business voicemail. It's going to be whatever this external voicemail is on whatever this number is you forwarded to. Let's see here. Another thing I wanted to put out there, which is just ease of use. Call forwarding is super easy to use. It can typically, there's 2 ways you can enable it, just to summarize everything we've went over. You can enable it through simply setting up the forward on your phone in your office, or you can enable it through the online portal that is in, that is administered with whatever the phone carrier is that you're using, i.e. Vonage or Nextiva or Ring Central. They all have some sort of virtual administration portal where you can enable and disable call forwarding. Now, there's a really big point that I want to cover here that is very, very important. Number 1, if you enable the call forwarding through your physical phone in the office, and for some reason the power in your office either goes out or you lose internet in your office, your forward is effectively disabled. This is because your forward is not inactive in the voice over IP cloud. You have activated or enabled your call forward on your physical phone, on your physical desk or desktop phone or call center phone in the office. So it means when that phone is inactive, i.e. power shortage, i.e. the phone's been unplugged from the wall, or i.e. you've lost internet and the phone can't communicate with your voice over IP provider's cloud anymore, your forward is disabled. If this is a concern, then you need to set up your forward within the back end. In the administration portal that we talked about before. And that's where we go to the flip side of this scenario. Keep in mind, for those of you who are watching, and this is the thing that I get the most calls about from people all the time, what I call user error, because they don't understand the difference between setting up a forward on the physical phone and setting up a forward in the back end with their carrier in the administration portal. It doesn't matter if you disable the forward on your physical phone. If you have set up the forward on the back end with your carrier, that forward is just there. It's there and it's permanent until you go in and you actually disable that forward. It doesn't matter what you do on your physical phone on your desk until you disable that forward in the cloud where you enabled it. The calls are going to keep getting forwarded until you go in there and reverse that, because the cloud, the administration portal, always supersedes the settings that are on the physical phone in the office. And that's actually a good thing, believe it or not, because it means that you can preserve your call routing and the way that you want your call flow to be and where you want calls to go and where you want voicemails to go, even in the event that you lose power in the office or your phone is destroyed or stolen and broken, or you have like a natural disaster at your office. So that's a good thing. So let's see here. Last thing is, don't forget to turn it off. You guys will be surprised how many people I have call me on a weekly, monthly basis that say, hey, I did this, I did that, and my calls are still being forwarded. So many people forget to not only cut off their forward, but they forget where they need to go to cut off the forward. Make a note on a whiteboard, put it in your calendar, or put it in your memo or reminders on your cell phone, not only to cut off your call forward on whatever date it is you're wanting to cut it off, but where you set it up at. Did you set it up on the handset or did you set it up on the internet? Make some notes so that you know not only that you still have it set up, but you know where to go to quickly and effectively cut it off so that you don't have a big mess of where your calls are getting forwarded to and just have a mess. So anyways, closing statements. As I mentioned before, every single voice over IP provider on the market currently at the time of this video, every hosted voice over IP provider, which we represent, offers call forwarding as a, as just an included feature for every single user to be able to have at their disposal on the account. It doesn't cost any extra to have this. It doesn't cost you any less or any extra to use it or not to use it. Keep in mind, as I mentioned before in closing statements, that if you want to use call forwarding in the auto attendant, not all, but some carriers will charge a per minute fee for the duration of the call when the call is forwarded out, and they'll charge a fee per minute until that call is disconnected on both ends from the party. So that's really important. Again, it's a free feature, typically included in the bundle. If you're somebody who is watching this video and you're interested in learning more about not only call forwarding, but possibly even simultaneous ring and some of the other advanced features that all of the voice over IP companies typically include these days, and you'd like to see pricing, call me. I represent all of the carriers and I can get you the best deals. Prince Rich, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll talk to you guys again in the next video.